to story time. In this month, Gita Jayanti is celebrated, and this celebrates the great divine song of the Bhagavad Gita. So let us hear a story about this today. As we know, Hastinapur was ruled by the Kuru clan. The Kauravas and the Pandavas, though they were cousins, there was no love lost between them. And so it was that it had come to a point where war had been declared. A lot of measures had been tried to maintain peace. Lord Krishna himself had intervened. But Duryodhana, the eldest of the Kauravas, would not hear of any of this. And so, greedy for the throne, greedy for power, he declared that war was the only way out. And Pandavas, being on the side of Dharma, for they were the righteous cousins, they decided that they had to participate in this war to establish that righteousness would win, that good would win over evil. And the battle was about to begin. The scene of the battle was the holy land of Kurukshetra. It is said that for one who dies on this holy land of Kurukshetra, heaven is assured. And so the two armies stood facing each other. Everybody had got their supporters, and the Kaurava army was far superior to the Pandava army. While the Kauravas had 11 battalions, the Pandavas had only 7. But they had an ace up their sleeve, and which was our dear Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna had decided that he would not fight, but he had taken on the reins of the chariot on which Arjuna would be sitting and fighting. And so it was that this Sarathi, Lord Krishna, along with Arjuna the brave, stood on the battlefield just before the war was about to begin. Now, Arjuna spoke to Krishna and told him, "Please take me to the center of the field. Before the battle begins, I want to look and assess this might and splendor of the army. Let me look at whom I have to fight with." And Krishna smilingly obliged. Krishna drew the 4 horses ahead, and the chariot began to move till Lord Krishna positioned it exactly in front of the place where the grandfather Bhishma and Guru Dronacharya could be seen. Arjuna was considered to be the bravest of the brave. Nobody could match him in archery. He had also got the knowledge of the celestial weapons when he had gone to Swargalok. And so there was no cause for concern whatsoever. The number of battalions on the Pandava side were less, but the might, the courage, the valor was far superior, and they were fighting on the side of Dharma. And so there was confidence all around. Now, when Arjuna began looking at the Kauravas, when he began to look at the armies in front of him, what he saw were not his enemies. He suddenly realized that he would have to fight his grandfather, his guru, his cousins, his uncles, his relatives. And suddenly he began to feel beads of perspiration form on his brow. His hands began to tremble. He began to feel a strange kind of weakness. His bow began to slip from his shoulders. Hand shaking, he just sat down. Everybody around him started wondering, what has overcome Arjuna? Why is he now sitting in his chariot? What is he trying to tell Krishna? But everybody was far away. Nobody could hear what was happening. And suddenly Arjuna told Krishna. Krishna was his dearest friend. He could confide everything to him. And so he told Krishna, "Oh Krishna, I cannot fight. I am overcome with pity. I am overcome with compassion. This is my grandfather. This is my guru. How can I kill them? I will incur so much sin. And what will I get? That kingdom? Heaven? I don't want either of this. It is better that I beg and live and survive rather than kill them and gain some kingdom. I don't want to fight because I don't want to be the cause for the death of my beloved grandfather, my respected teacher. And Krishna smiled at him. Arjuna continued lamenting like this. He kept telling Krishna, it is better if they kill me, it's better if I don't lift any weapon, it is better to die, or it is even better to become a sannyasi. But I cannot kill these relatives of mine. And now Krishna the doctor knew that Arjuna was suffering from a disease of sorrow and delusion, confusion at the wrong time, at the wrong place. And Krishna, the dear friend that he was, the great Lord that he was, the best teacher that he was, began explaining to Arjuna the rules of right living. This is called the Bhagavad Gita, the discourse that transforms the life of people right up to today. He explained to Arjuna, Arjuna, you cannot kill anybody. Your weapons may kill the body but not the soul. The soul cannot be cut by weapons. It cannot be burnt by fire. It cannot be dried by wind. It cannot be wet or drowned by water. Why do you think that you are the killer? The soul keeps changing bodies just like we keep changing clothes. Do not despair. Do your duty. Your duty is your dharma. By not doing your duty, you will incur sin. But doing your duty, if you die on the battlefield or if you gain the kingdom of the earth, either way you will be a winner. Now Arjuna kept listening, but he was not convinced. What was this that Lord Krishna was talking about? Lord Krishna was giving him the highest knowledge. He was giving him the knowledge of that spirit which is in all of us. That light of consciousness which is in every aspect of creation, living as well as non-living. And Arjuna kept listening. Lord Krishna said that if you don't do your duty, you will be called a coward. You are a Kshatriya. It is your duty to stand up for the downtrodden, to re-establish dharma. The society will go into ruin if the role models, if the right people do not follow their duties. And so it is that everybody has to keep working. You talk of becoming a sannyasi. Even while doing action, even while fighting a battle, you can have the attitude of a sannyasi. What does this mean? Arjuna was confused. And so Lord Krishna explained that by surrendering to the Lord, by thinking that every action that he did was an action for the Lord, done in the spirit of surrender, not with the ego that I am the doer of the action, but with the attitude that Lord, you are the doer, I am only an instrument. Even this could give him that feeling of renunciation or sannyasa. And the fruits of this action, it would come in its own time. Lord Krishna warned Arjuna, don't be anxious about the fruits, because you have a right only to act, not for the fruits of action. That will be determined by the Lord himself. And so Arjuna continued listening. Lord Krishna kept imparting him with this highest knowledge, explaining to him why he had to act. He told Arjuna, there are three types of people. There are some who are lazy, dull, ignorant, who will just not act and do their duties. Then there are some who are active all the time, but doing the duties with a selfish motive. While there are noble, virtuous people who do their duties selflessly in the bhav of service or seva. They are known as the tamasic, rajasic or sattvic type of people. But if a person has to become totally pure and calm, has to give up the attachment with the body and not worry about it all the time, then that person has to be beyond even these three qualities. Then that person is calm irrespective of pleasure or pain, irrespective of honor, dishonor, irrespective of joy or sorrow. Such a calm, wise person is known as a Sthitaprajna, one who is established in knowledge. Now Arjuna was listening with great interest. For the first time he had understood that a person could overcome these worries of daily life, the tensions, the anxieties while one is performing action. And here Krishna was advising him to stand up and fight. Now Arjuna wanted Lord Krishna to reveal himself, his true nature, because how could Lord Krishna explain so much of the highest wisdom? He was just his friend and cousin. And Lord Krishna told him that I am beyond time. I am eternal. I have seen all of creation through the ages. Arjuna, you have been born many times. You have had many lives. But the difference is that you don't remember while I do. Now Arjuna wanted to know whether Lord Krishna would show him his true form. If he was the Lord, there had to be an infinite form, that vision which Arjuna craved to see. And so Lord Krishna told him, I will bless you with that divine Divya Drishti, using which you will get a glimpse of what I am. And while Arjuna watched, he could see the entire creation, the suns, the moons, the stars, all his ancestors, the past, present and future, the gods, the asuras, the humans, his cousins, his friends, his enemies, everybody within this form of Lord Krishna. He could see mountains, he could see rivers, he could see seas. And at the same time, as Arjuna was watching in wonder and amazement, he saw terrifying sights. He could see what was going to happen in this war. The war had not yet begun, yet he could see the Kauravas being crushed in this teeth of time. He could see them being destroyed. He could see bloodshed. He could see gore on the battlefield, till he could bear it no more and asked Lord Krishna to come back to his original sweet form. And Lord Krishna obliged. Now Lord Krishna compassionately told Arjuna to surrender everything and do his duty and fight. Now Lord Krishna had given him a glimpse of that Vishwarupa Darshana, that glorious form of the Lord. At the same time, he explained to Arjuna that doing his duty with an attitude of surrender was the sure shot formula of success. Everybody could not become the highest devotee sitting in contemplation in the sacred mountains of the Himalayas. Some people would have to be in the center of action. Yet, if their mind was always centered on the Lord, they could be no different from that sannyasi on the peaks of the Himalayas. Thus, giving courage to Arjuna, he urged him to stand up and fight. He explained to him that he could cultivate noble virtues, do his duty, keep his focus on the Lord, surrender to the Lord, keep working till a time would come when he would be eligible for even sannyasa. Now Arjuna understood the truth of all the teachings of this great divine song, the Bhagavad Gita. And surrendering to Lord Krishna, he picked up his bow. There was renewed vigor and enthusiasm flowing through his body. Suddenly there was confidence seen in all his brothers and the armies of the Pandavas. The Kauravas, who had started thinking that they had won the war even before it had begun, now grew dejected because they could see that Arjuna was transformed. The teaching of the Bhagavad Gita does that. It is a life transforming message of the Lord himself. Now there was no stopping Arjuna, and the war began and the Pandavas won, as we know. Dharma will always win over adharma, and it is the Lord who takes avatar every time when adharma rises and dharma comes down to re-establish the good on earth. The Lord makes an appearance. He still makes an appearance in our lives in the form of the Bhagavad Gita. May the Mother Gita bless us so that we are able to understand and absorb her teachings in our day-to-day life. I hope you liked today's story, and if you did, do share it with your family and friends, and don't forget to read the Holy Gita every day. I will be back next Thursday with another story. Until we meet again, Hari Om.